In progress.
How's everybody doing today? So, what we're gonna do now is kind of go over market analysis for today. We're gonna go over some neighborhoods so that we can kind of get a better idea um, of how the market is currently. So, right now in the last 24 hours, looks like there's a lot more houses coming on the market. It's still the supply is low. 300 is not a lot. And we have almost 500 um, new houses coming on the market. If we're looking at some of the market reports, so let's try and look at uh, up to, so let's look for January in residential, see where we're at. Let's see what we can, let's look at Fairfax County. So if we look at February 2024, 23, last year, we can see here the inventory is about the same, a difference in about 100. Um, but we can see how much uh, you see that this here is kind of a telling number where you see about 900 new listings and here's 800. It's not that different. Sales are going to start to pick up right now. There's still a lot of people still in school. So we can kind of see that the price is about 100,000 more since last year. It's not going to be that different because last year about last year is when that financing when a lot of those rates went up and when things went up it causes the pricing to kind of change but not by a lot. Before last year is when you start to see like really strong price increases. So so let's start looking at Fairfax County, right? Fairfax County. Let's take a look at Fairfax. And there's about 777, so about 800 results we have right here. So let's just about 777 results here. So pricing, the maximum price house for a single family. So let's look at single family. One thing that you can do is when you start looking at single family homes, you can get an idea of Fairfax County. What would it take for you as a homeowner to get into a single family home? So right now you've got just a single family. What is the lowest price single family that you can find in Fairfax County? Right? So right now, the lowest price one, I wonder what this is, 50,000, 720 Green Oak. This looks like a mock-up, a development. But let's go back. So if you're in the market for a house, one thing you want to do is kind of have an idea of, okay, what can I step into for 50,000? If I so right now 550,000 is what you get for one single family house. Um, so 3901, Sergey, as you're looking in your house search, if you don't see a picture, one thing I try to utilize is Google Maps, you know. They kind of give you some idea where you're at, what the house looks like. So if you don't see a picture here, or you can go buy it from if you're in the area, you can always go buy it. But anyway, let's see maps. So why do I do these things? Is to learn the market, know where things are at, what are the properties available. So this one looks like a one level Rambler. Just from looking at this, the neighborhood looks good. This is that typical Northern Virginia neighborhood. Uh, navigating this thing is kind of a pain. So this 3 bed, 2 bath, and the square foot is about 1,000. So in Virginia, Fairfax County, this is would be considered small. What a lot of people want to be is in the 2000s. So if we go back to our liners, you can see that the square foot. mm, let's see my view. So the first one that kind of hits that 2000 mark is this one here, east side. And this is in Alexandria, and this is at 649. The price look like it's going down. This is a tear down. Oh, 2,000 square foot tear down. Um, so basically, you're looking at a 550 starting range. So 600,000 or up right now in Fairfax County. So I mean, kind of expect that. Let's look at townhomes. Where we are on the townhomes. Playing games. So with townhomes, you just hit these, not townhomes, but yeah, townhouses. So with townhouses, we're looking at, so townhouses, you're looking at 300,000. So there's not a lot on the low side of 300,000, but once you get into the 400s, that's where you see some action, you know? So kind of look at 400. I mean, there's about 100,000 to 200,000 to go from a townhome to a single family, you know. So let's look at this one. Wow, it's not bad. So from looking at these pictures, you can see that most likely someone already lives in here. They're preparing to leave. Um, they're preferring leave the carpets. You don't know what updates they're gonna do, but it hasn't really been painted or renovated. But overall, this is in a good condition. Everything is working. It's a very livable home. You can transition to this pretty easily. What do I really see here that might be popping out? There's a local pool nearby. It's a nice, wow, walking trail. It's a nice walking trail. And these are the things if you want to envision yourself in a community. Do you use the pool? Do you walk a lot? Um, and this is nice where you don't have a lot of one thing good about townhomes, you don't have to do a lot of grass cutting, but this has a nice shed. I mean, having a nice shed, you'll always need things that you don't want in your house, you want to put outside. You know, overall, this looks very spacious in the pictures, and everything looks in pretty good condition. It's not fully renovated. Cabinets are nice. They're kind of well kept. I think this looks kind of like laminate. Looks like laminate right here. I'm not sure what's in these bulkheads up here, but I'm just kind of going through and just seeing. So let's go somewhere. These are the older style townhouses. When you see any of these styles, you'll know that they're okay. When you see something tall, like three level, you'll know that just the this type of structures are going to be newer, the newer styles. So you want to expect a newer look. So you can already predict. I can already predict that these will get were built on a newer, well, or newer, more updated, higher ceilings, multiple colors, a lot of recessed lights. This is kind of what you expect. So this is moving ready. It looks like they did some paint and they did some upkeep. This is granite. This type of granite, it's usually the lower level granite. Um, you can get deals on this. Right now, I got one for like $30 a square foot. It's pretty good. Um, Cabinets, lots of cabinet space. You see how big the cabinet, how much cabinet space you have? It's pretty crazy. Cabinets everywhere. That's a nice kitchen. I think a lot of people would be happy with that kitchen. So this is hidden in between. It's in Centerville. So the reason this is 525, and when you go back and you'll see stuff in Springfield, you see Springfield is always more expensive than Centerville. You go to Herndon, it's smaller, right? But the location is very scarce. So the prices are a lot higher. Okay, so when you're at, let's say you're at 600,000, it's at 575. If you can qualify for 600,000, you got to kind of ask yourself, do I want to stick with the townhouse? Why would you want a townhouse versus a single family home? You got to kind of ask yourself that question. So it's about $1,000 of mortgage for every 100,000. So if you're at 600,000, I think it's $1,000 of mortgage for every 100,000. You do, I'll calculate that way. Ugh. But this is kind of the where we're at. It's kind of not a lot of things that are deals. What you're getting right now is kind of on the high end. Prices here have gone up a lot. So if you really wanted to make a move, you see how this is right next to a lot of smaller ones? People, what they do when they search, they'll come up to one of these bigger ones. uh, you can see with the flowers, with how they decorated the kind of the identity of the person. They really tried to incorporate nature into their everyday life. You see the flowers, gardens everywhere. I don't know if they this is always how it is. It seems like they live here and you can see flowers down here. Everything is flowers, nature, flowers. So it does create a certain, it's not the best setup to market your property, but it is this is in pretty good condition, pretty well kept. Mm, these dark spots are a little troubling. I think it's been raining, but water is starting to suck up these areas of discoloration. But it doesn't mean it's anything bad going on. It's just where the water is soaking in. I really don't like to see this type of stuff. It's better to just put some treatment on it, protect it, because this discoloration you see it's here in the back. It's not always you have to check if it's really uh, that water is sticking to that wood. But outside wood, I would just get it treated. Why fool around, right? I don't see too many issues with this house. It's pretty new. It's well kept. When you take off everything, what's that pipe? Okay. This kind of a headache. You have a drain pipe coming down here, going out, and as you're walking, it's kind of in the way. But it's a small issue. I think initially they had this, but this would just pour into the sidewalk. So then they put this, so it will spit out here. You know what? Is not a really good fix because you're always gonna have something here. You know, I have I have kind of idea, but it's too much work. It's not worth it. Wow. They do have a basketball court, but it's only one hoop on one side. They should have done the other side. But hey, it's better than nothing. They cover the pool. Yeah, it's winter time. A lot of places putting up pools, but you barely use it. They're not far this park is, but that's one good thing with Virginia. You got so many parks, so many places, walking trails everywhere. So you can always walk and you can always walk wherever you want to walk. Um, and it won't be too far. A lot of people are into the whole running outside and biking, and Virginia is really good for that. You don't get that crazy heat. That's the good thing about Virginia. It doesn't last too long. The cold seasons aren't too bad either. So if you so in a 50-mile radius, let's see, let's take off Fairfax. There's 3,000 houses. So let's see how much it would be for detached. There's 4,000 houses right now in a 50-mile radius of DC, of Lincolnia, Virginia. So what about 130 matches? 130 matches. We kind of understand this already. Um, that's kind of where we're at right now. So one thing, let's say you're trying to buy, you want to think about just do some basic calculator. So if we're looking at 600,000, so let's say I can afford 6,000 a month, right? Let's say 8,000 mortgage payment. You got two incomes, and you're gonna put down if it's 600,000, let's say 700,000, you want to put down 5%, so you put down 35,000, right? You got none of that long term 30 years. Most people are going to hit about 8% in this market. So you can get $1 million house if you can afford 8,000 a month. Let's drop it to 5,000. Let's see. So if it was 5,000 and property was 700,000, seven times three, 21,000. So let's do 30,000. It's not gonna make a difference, big difference. So kind of the thing you want to see is okay, 5,000, and after 5,000, you're still gonna have this is just a loan, but you end up paying. It's kind of insane how much you end up paying, right? Um, if you take a loan of 681,000, you end up paying 1.8 million by the time you're done in 30 years. So it's kind of funny. You think you're making money, but you're not. You think you're making an investment, but you're not. You're like, I live here, you do, but you're paying monthly, and by paying monthly on that interest rate, it's a ridiculous amount of money you're paying. But you're not gonna stay that long. It'll appreciate, you'll sell it, someone else will take the burden. But 5,000, you can kind of wing it with two people in this market. Everybody works two incomes. You can kind of have like a 3 grand, 3 grand hit. Um, so right now, you can see that there is a home shortage. People are not selling. A lot of reason why people don't sell is because the interest rates are high. If they were to sell, where are they going to live? They have to kind of leave the community, leave where they're at. And a lot of people like living in these big cities. And if they do sell, they'll have to go into a higher rate mortgage loan. And a lot of people, that's not attractive. Uh, People already have mortgages that are at maybe 2%, 3%, 4%. If they were to sell their house, they jump into another, 7, 8% loan. So a lot of people are staying put. It's the war is going on, inflation is still kind of going on, and also the jobs are not very. jobs are there. There's like a lot of scamming going on, but but a lot of people are having trouble finding jobs. So it says here, buy interest in all types of home rose in January. So, it's February right now, March, people are starting to look because slowly because school is ending, but the serious buyers are going to hit the market um, like March, April as school starts to shut down, you know. And it says index of luxury condos increased by 75%, followed by a 40% rise in entry level condos. So look, demand was strongest for luxury. So the rich people, they still got money. They're buying stuff. They're buying stuff for their family or whatever they can afford. It's not the price for them is different. So when you start getting into the $1 million, $2 million, when you get into the higher numbers, uh, those people are still making good money. The price difference isn't a big issue for them. For them, it becomes a location and what's what are they really getting when you come. This is in Philly, so condos. So it says demand for was weakest for luxury single family homes with buyer interest in the limited range. So I could see that people who buy condos want to be in the city, they want to spend their money on location, but the single family homes are probably double or triple that cost. That was Philly. Looking at Washington, D.C., things are going up. Luxury condos have moved up. So 57% increase in single family homes. And so one thing you realize in markets, when markets are tough, there becomes like an influx of everyone coming to Washington, D.C. or New York City, the where the job hubs are. And if anyone's gonna buy or any gonna purchase something, those are the people who's doing the best in a kind of a recession or economic slowdown. So that's the home demand index. The home demand index. I don't know what that means, man. Look at this. Residential activity report. So let's look at this one. Let's look at Baltimore. So our first group was detached, semi-detached, detached, semi-detached. It's the same report. Um, in group one, group two. So the most what I don't even know why they do that. I have to figure out how to fool around with this thing. I don't know why they put group one, group two. So anyway, so in Baltimore, the median price for a house 4 plus. is 4 or more bedrooms. I don't know if that's right. Is that really right? 4 more bedrooms, yeah. But even two plus is not 132. You know, this doesn't seem right here. I think it's because Baltimore, a lot of these listings are like tear downs. They're like dead houses, so it messes up the stats. These in Baltimore. One thing I know about Baltimore is there's a lot of stuff low price, but it's like total guts. You'll spend two to 400 grand sometimes trying to get those things going. Let's look at Prince William. Yeah, I think Prince William too, but you can see the cluster. See, when you look at the cluster where the majority of the activity is, these are the ones that mess up the numbers. But you see, if you want to be in Prince William, you got to start looking at the cluster. The cluster's right here, you know. So the market right now, there's still activity. People are buying, people are still buying, but it's not a rush. It's still a little bit slow purchasing, but the prices aren't going up. As you'll notice, like last year, the prices were starting to skyrocket and it was incrementally appreciating because the interest rates were so low, people were pushing to buy. Right now, what you see kind of is a stable market. Things that were priced at 350 are staying around that range. There might be a 10% decrease or an increase, but it's staying around that range. So prices kind of are starting to stabilize. I see markets such as California that are seeing decrease. I've seen markets in Florida that are seeing slight decreases, but the decreases are not more than, 10% one way or the other, but they're more going on the decreasing side. So they'll give you like if something's 600,000, they might push it down to like 550 to try and move it. But you're not going to see like 500. Then I go from 600 to 500. Usually once it gets close to 550, things are moving. And the things that are sitting are always going to be the ones there that are going to require work. But I also have noticed that there are investors in big companies kind of buying up some properties because I'll see property that'll go off the market quick and it'll get listed, it'll go off the market quick, and then I'll go take a look at it and I'll see the house just sitting empty. So kind of I think there's some new strategy, I think, for some companies where they're they like to buy real estate and hold it, and they're holding it for some reason, but I'm not sure what. But basically, this is kind of the market update now. I know I'm all over the place, but the goal of the market update is for me to consistently go over different neighborhoods, get an overview of the market, provide some useful knowledge, and at the same time, keep myself abreast of different sectors in different cities. I do look at the nation as a whole, and I look at certain countries. So it's a very broad search I do, and I'm starting to localize to certain cities. But the ones that I know very well is Northern Virginia because I've been a real estate agent there for many years. I know the Orlando area pretty well. Um, California I know pretty well. So the goal for me right now is to really nationally understand where are the hottest markets and why, and being comfortable with the real estate housing there on the commercial and residential side, trying to understand the types of houses, the risks associated, the county and local zoning laws, and look at things from a business perspective, but also from a home ownership perspective. So I know it's a big undertaking. Most people are experts in a certain city, and I am an expert in a certain city because I still have customers that that I work with. But when you're building a real estate portfolio, you can't always look for the opportunity that's close to your house. I don't really believe in that. I don't believe that the best opportunities are really where you're at sometimes. Sometimes the best opportunity might be another state or another city or another country. And if you have the ability to be flexible, you can take advantage of an opportunity that you couldn't have done in your city. So I'll give you an example. So if you come to Virginia, you might not be comfortable with Virginia, but once you come to Virginia, you might be able to have a better career. You might be in the government. It might be a better place to open a restaurant. It might be a better place to network, right? Because you got people from a lot of foreign investors. You got a lot of people from all over the world there that are very comfortable with different ideas, right? You might open let's say you had an idea for a restaurant that was a Korean based or, Ghana based or, and you wanted to put a pool hall in it, movie theater. Virginia people come because they're like, they want something different. They want something new all the time. So when you come there, you might not be able to afford it initially if you're coming from a small town, but you can very quickly increase your salary and your position if you're willing to make the sacrifices. And also, don't be scared of a big city, transitioning to a big city, because with the dual income that most people do, it makes things manageable. So on that side, as a homeowner, if you want to relocate somewhere, you have to think about those things. What's the kind of lifestyle that you want? Like, what are the social events that you want to be doing? And what are the hubs? And most people move to different location because they know someone there, or it's about a job, or their family is there. It's not as logically as we would think, you know. But I realize as an investor, let's say you want to invest in housing, the labor cost in America is so huge. So if you were to go to, let's say, Miami and build a house, it might take you, 400,000 to build that house. But if you were to do it in like Kansas City, Missouri, that same house might cost you 200, right? Is it because the labor and the material might be one issue, like, but also that $200,000 house, it might be because you're getting a discount in the land, right? People are willing to work at a lower rate. That's going to help your bottom line. And certain materials might be more available and cheaper in other states. So as you're building houses or looking for renovations, you have to think how easily are certain materials available. And big cities, places like California, LA, San Francisco, the labor rates, you have to expect to pay a higher labor rate. If people are looking at living in some of these areas, the cost of living, so think about it. If you were to go to Dallas, Texas, and you buy a house for, 500 to a million, you'll have a pretty new house. It'll be, in the early 2000s, like 2010, or sometimes you get into a new development. Now, if you go to places like LA or San Francisco and you want to spend a million, your house is going to be old. It might be in a good location, but it's going to be an old house, maybe 50 years old, maybe 100, right? But you're not getting a new house. You're going into a very developed area and putting a new house there. So let's say you're like, I want a new house. I'm gonna go into San Francisco. I'm gonna buy a new house just to land alone. You're gonna spend maybe 400,000 on a good lot. To put a house up, maybe another 4 or 500,000, because you're gonna want a 200,000 square foot house. I mean, 2,000 square foot house. So you're gonna spend about 1 million just putting that bad boy up, but maybe more the way their zoning and taxes are, because um, San Francisco, there's also there stuff in the heart of San Francisco. It starts out at 1 million. It can get to two real fast. But if you're, let's say, in Orlando, you can get a gated community, nice place. The problem here might be more jobs. I think the job market here is mostly tourism. I don't know about how strong the business sector is. I need to research that. I think it is a good idea for my marketing analysis is to really separate out um, where the jobs are coming from and what jobs are the strongest in what sectors and where are the IT jobs going, where are the developments really happening. And I think that's another thing. Doing these market updates, I'm starting it out, but I really want to I think as I do the updates, I'm able to figure out more more closely the the specific topics and the structure that I need to put these market updates in to make it more valuable. So right now, this is where we're at. Today's the one of the regular updates I'm trying to keep up with, and I'll try to be more topic focused. I think that's important. But that's kind of where we're at today. Um, Again, this is Abdullah Real Estate the Hard Way. Continue to build and learn and build and get this keep this ball rolling until it gets to a point where I'm content and happy with the growth. Again, everybody, keep on plugging. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, you can probably comment. I might not answer. I'm really like so busy right now. Um, but eventually, things will slow down, and I'll have a lot more time to uh, follow up on anybody's comments. All right, signing off, man. I am TIRED.